Just in, women only chase men who act like they don't care. That line alone will already upset some people. But the truth is, if you're a man and you've been chasing, begging, or constantly trying to prove your worth to women, you've already lost. And I don't say that to discourage you. I say it because nobody has told you the uncomfortable truth. Women are not attracted to the man who places her at the center of his universe. They are attracted to the man who already has a universe of his own and who doesn't lose himself just because she shows up. Now, let's get brutally honest here. Most men have been conditioned to believe the exact opposite. You've been told to be nice, to show her how much you care, to always be available, to text back instantly, to pour your emotions out. And yet, what happens every single time you do that? She pulls away. She becomes distant. She tells you she needs space. Or worse, she gives her time and energy to the man who barely gives her attention at all, and you're left sitting there wondering, what did I do wrong? Here's the controversial truth. You didn't do anything wrong in terms of being kind or showing interest. What you did wrong was thinking that attraction is built the same way for women as it is for men. Men chase what they desire. Women desire what they cannot easily have. Read that again. Women are drawn to the man who acts like he doesn't care, not because they want to be mistreated, not because they enjoy being ignored, but because indifference signals strength. It signals control. It signals that your world doesn't collapse if she doesn't text back, and that you're not desperate for her validation. And in a society where so many men are desperate, that kind of behavior stands out like a diamond in the dirt. Let's be even more direct. Women do not chase comfort. They chase challenge. If you are too predictable, too available, too eager, she gets bored. But the moment she senses that your attention is not automatic, that she has to earn your time, that you have boundaries, suddenly you become the prize. And men who don't care, or at least act like they don't care, communicate that without even saying a word. Now, I can already hear the objections, but shouldn't men be respectful, loving, and attentive? Of course. But here's the difference most men never learn. Those qualities only work once she has already chosen you. At the beginning, respect without boundaries looks like weakness. Love without self-control looks like obsession. Attention without scarcity looks like neediness. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. So why do women chase the man who acts like he doesn't care? It's because he communicates through his actions that his life is already full. He has his purpose, his ambition, his goals, his standards. He doesn't crumble just because she's in the picture. That kind of man forces her to step up, to prove herself, to invest in him. And when she invests, she becomes attached. That's psychology, plain and simple. Let me make this even clearer with a scenario. Imagine two men texting the same woman. The first guy responds immediately, sends long emotional paragraphs, constantly compliments her, and rearranges his schedule just to fit hers. The second guy takes his time, gives short but confident replies, and only makes plans when it genuinely works for him. Which man do you think she's chasing harder? It's almost always the second one, not because he's better looking or richer, but because his energy communicates, I'm not waiting around for you. My life is already moving. That energy is magnetic. Here's the part most men won't want to hear. Women don't actually fall for the man who makes things too easy. Attraction is not about comfort, it's about tension. If she feels like she can have you at any moment, she won't value you. But if she feels like she could lose you, she will fight to keep you. That's why the man who acts like he doesn't care often ends up being chased. He creates that tension without even trying. Now let me drop a controversial statement that will sting a little. If you're constantly struggling to keep a woman's attention, it's not because she's confused or doesn't know what she wants. It's because she doesn't see you as a challenge. She doesn't feel the pull. And instead of raising your standards, you're lowering yourself to keep her. That's why you keep losing. And until you learn to detach, to stop over-investing, to stop caring more than she does, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle. The men who win in relationships aren't the ones who care the most. They're the ones who care the least, at least in the beginning. Not because they're cold, not because they're heartless, but because they know their worth doesn't depend on one woman's attention. That's the mindset shift most men refuse to make. and that's why most men never get chased. So if you've ever asked yourself, why do women ignore the guys who treat them the best and chase the ones who barely care? The answer is right here. It's not about treating her badly. It's about not treating her like your entire world before she's earned that position. Women chase men who act like they don't care, because deep down, women want to feel like they've won a prize, not like they were handed one for free. And that, gentlemen, is where we're going to start. Let's face it, most men have been sold a lie. You were told that the way to win a woman is to give her everything. Your time, your attention, your emotions, your constant reassurance. And at first, it feels logical. You care about her, so naturally, you want to show it. But here's the problem. The more you pour yourself out without limits, the less she values it. Caring too much, especially too early, kills attraction faster than almost anything else. Why? Because women are not drawn to men who are desperate. They are drawn to men who stand firm, who have control, and who don't lose themselves the moment a woman enters their life. When you care too much, when you overtext, overgive, overpraise, you stop being attractive and start being predictable, and predictability kills the spark. Think about it this way. If every time she calls, you drop everything, what message are you really sending? You're telling her, you are more important than anything else in my life. And while that may sound romantic in movies, in reality, it signals weakness. It tells her you have nothing more valuable going on. And when she feels that, she loses respect. Let's break this down into something simple. Overinvesting makes you look weak. Too much attention feels desperate. Women lose respect when you need them more than they need you. This isn't about playing games. It's about balance. Women want to feel like they're stepping into your world, not like they've suddenly become your whole world. The man who cares too much too soon puts her on a pedestal, and once she's up there, she starts looking down. Here's where it gets interesting. Women actually test this. They test how much you're willing to bend, how much you'll sacrifice, how far you'll go just to keep them happy. And the men who fail that test are the ones who hand over everything too quickly. The men who pass are the ones who know when to pull back, when to say no, when to stand firm. Let me give you a clear picture. Imagine two men, both dating the same type of woman. The first guy meets her and instantly rearranges his schedule for her. If she calls at midnight, he picks up. If she cancels on him, he acts like it's no big deal. If she hints at wanting a gift, he surprises her with one the next day. His entire focus shifts to her, and while she may enjoy the attention at first, it doesn't take long before she starts to pull away. Why? Because she feels no challenge. She knows she has him wrapped around her finger. Now, the second guy likes her just as much, but he's different. He values his time. If she calls, he doesn't always answer right away because he's busy living his life. If she cancels, he doesn't get upset, but he also doesn't chase to reschedule instantly. He moves on with his plans. When she hints at wanting something, he doesn't rush to buy it because he's not trying to earn her approval with gifts. She starts to realize that his world doesn't spin around her, and that very realization makes her lean in harder. Which man does she respect more? Which man does she chase? Almost always, it's the second. Not because he's mean, not because he ignores her, but because his actions tell her, I'm not desperate. I have options. I'm valuable with or without you. That's magnetic. Here's the harsh truth. Caring too much too early is not love. It's insecurity. It's a way of saying, please don't leave me, I'll do anything to keep you. And that kind of energy suffocates women. They don't feel drawn to it. They feel trapped by it. They may stay around for the comfort, but they won't feel the burning attraction that makes them chase. The strongest men understand something most never learn. Care has to be balanced with self-respect. Yes, you show her interest. Yes, you give her attention. But you never overgive to the point where it costs you your dignity. That's the line most men cross. They think being all in will win her over, but all it does is make her pull away. If you want proof, look at your own past. Think about the times you bent over backward for a woman. Did she end up staying, or did she slowly lose interest? Now think about the times you were busy, focused, living your own life, and she had to wait for you. Didn't she seem more eager, more invested? That's not a coincidence. That's human psychology. So here's the mindset shift you need to make. Stop thinking that caring more makes her care back. It doesn't. What makes her care is the realization that you don't need her to survive, but you choose to let her in. That's the difference between weakness and strength, between being ignored and being chased. Remember this. If you hand her your whole heart before she's earned even a piece of it, don't be surprised when she drops it. But if you protect your value, if you show that your attention is worth something, she'll fight to keep it. And that's when attraction truly begins. Indifference. That one word alone makes some men uncomfortable because it feels cold, distant, almost careless. But here's the reality. When it comes to attraction, indifference is not about being cruel or disrespectful. It's about showing that your world doesn't rise and fall based on one woman's attention. And the truth is, women are drawn to that energy. Why? Because indifference signals strength. It tells her that you're not desperate, that you don't crumble if she doesn't text back, and that your value doesn't depend on her approval. That's powerful. That's what makes her lean in. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how the more you care about a woman's every move, the more distant she becomes? You wait on her replies, you obsess over her signals, you constantly wonder what she's thinking, and somehow all that effort pushes her away. But the moment you stop chasing, the moment you detach emotionally and focus on yourself, she suddenly shows interest again. That's not an accident. That's the power of indifference. Indifference is attractive because it communicates control. A man who is indifferent is not ruled by his emotions. He doesn't panic if she doesn't give him attention. He doesn't cling when she starts pulling away. Instead, he stays calm, grounded, and in control of his world. And that calmness creates curiosity. It makes her think, why isn't he chasing me like everyone else? What makes him so sure of himself? Another thing about indifference, it creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. When something is rare, it becomes desirable, and when your attention is not freely given, it becomes worth chasing. If you hand it out to anyone, it loses meaning. But if you protect it, if you make it clear that your energy isn't for everyone, she will value it more when she gets it. Here's where most men go wrong. They confuse indifference with laziness or disrespect, but that's not what it is. True indifference is about balance. It's about showing interest without being consumed. It's about caring without being controlled. It's about giving attention when it matters, but never giving away your power. Men who understand indifference know how to hold back when necessary. They don't rush to prove themselves. They don't beg for validation. They don't panic when things don't go their way. Instead, they let the woman come toward them. And she does because she feels the pull of his independence. And here's the part most men don't want to admit. Women want to feel like they've earned your attention. If you give it too freely, it means nothing. But if they have to work for it, if they have to invest, if they have to prove themselves, it becomes valuable. Indifference forces that investment. It makes her chase instead of making you chase. Think about how many times you've seen the opposite play out. The men who overgive, overchase, and overcare almost always get overlooked. They become the nice guy who gets pushed aside. Meanwhile, the men who stand firm, who don't react to every little thing, who act like they're perfectly fine on their own, those are the men who keep women intrigued. And what keeps a woman intrigued is what makes her stay. The power of indifference lies in the message it sends. I am already enough. I don't need you to complete me. That message is magnetic, because deep down, women want to be with a man who has his own world, his own vision, his own strength. Indifference is proof of that. It's proof that you're not looking for someone to save you, but for someone to join you. Here's the simple truth. If you make her the center of your universe, she will eventually walk away. But if you stay the center of your own universe, she will orbit around you. That's the power of indifference. It puts you back in control. It shifts the dynamic. It makes you the prize. So ask yourself, do you want to keep chasing, begging, and overcaring only to watch her drift away? Or do you want to stand tall, detach, and let her feel the weight of your absence until she comes closer? The answer is obvious. The men who win in relationships are not the ones who care the most. They're the ones who know how to care less at the right time. And that's why indifference is so powerful. It doesn't push her away, it pulls her in. Not through effort, not through games, but through the quiet confidence of a man who knows his worth. That's the kind of energy women cannot resist. Let's be brutally honest for a moment. Too many men today have completely forgotten what it means to be the prize. They act like they're the ones applying for a position in a woman's life, waiting to be accepted, waiting to be chosen, waiting to be validated. And that mindset is exactly why so many men are stuck in situations where they give everything and receive almost nothing in return. Here's the truth you don't want to hear. If you're treating a woman like she's above you, you've already lost. If you put her on a pedestal, she will look down on you. Women do not chase men who act like they're beneath them. They chase men who make them rise to a higher standard. And that's what being the prize is all about. Being the prize starts with one thing: building your own life first. If your entire identity is wrapped up in trying to get her, you have no foundation. You have no mission, no vision, no real strength of your own. And women can sense that instantly. They don't want a man who makes them his only purpose. They want a man who already has purpose and who chooses to share that life with them. Here's where most men need a wake-up call. Stop living like your worth depends on her attention. It doesn't. Your worth depends on what you've built, how you carry yourself, and the standards you set. If you don't have standards, if you don't have boundaries, if you don't have direction, then you're not the prize. You're just another guy hoping to be picked. And let's be real, hope is not attractive. Strength is, confidence is. A man with discipline, vision, and control is the one who gets chased. The man who sits around waiting for a woman to give his life meaning will always be ignored. Being the prize also means making her earn your attention. Yes, you read that right. Too many men throw their time, energy, and focus at women who have done nothing to deserve it, and then they wonder why those same women don't value them. Why would she? You gave away something valuable without making her work for it. Attention is currency, and if you spend it carelessly, it becomes worthless. So here's the advice. Stop handing out your attention like it costs nothing. Make her prove that she's worth your time. Make her show up, invest, and commit. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect. If she wants a place in your life, she should have to earn it the same way you earn her interest. That's how balance is created. That's how attraction grows. Now let's talk about the part that stings. Too many men are weak. They fold the moment a woman tests them. They sacrifice their standards just to keep her around. They tolerate disrespect, flakiness, and excuses, all because they're afraid of losing her. And here's the harsh truth. You've already lost her the moment you lowered your standards. Women don't respect men who tolerate anything just to stay in the game. They respect men who walk away when they're not valued. Being the prize means having the courage to say, I don't need this. It means having the strength to walk away from any situation where you're not respected. It means holding yourself to such a high standard that she has no choice but to rise to it if she wants to stay in your life. That's what makes you attractive. That's what makes you unforgettable. So men, it's time to wake up. Stop begging, stop overgiving, stop thinking that love means losing yourself. It doesn't. Real attraction doesn't come from proving yourself to her. It comes from proving yourself to yourself. Build the body. Build the mind, build the discipline, build the life. When you do that, you won't have to chase anyone. She will chase you. Becoming the prize isn't about arrogance, it's about value. It's about recognizing that you have something rare to offer, a life built on strength, vision, and purpose. And when you live like that, you naturally flip the script. You stop asking, am I good enough for her? And you start asking, is she good enough for me? That shift changes everything. Because once you become the prize, women don't just want to be with you, they fight to keep you. Let's be completely honest. Most men watching this video are living in a lie. You've been told that the way to get a woman is to care more than she does, to give more than she gives, to bend over backward for her attention. And the harsh truth? That's exactly why so many of you are frustrated, ignored, and constantly left wondering why she's chasing someone else. Here's the controversial statement that will make some uncomfortable. Women don't chase men who act like they care. They chase men who act like they don't need them. And most men will never understand that because they're too busy pretending that chasing equals love. There, I said it. That's the raw, uncomfortable reality. Now, before you get defensive, hear me out. This isn't about treating women poorly or being heartless. It's about understanding human psychology, attraction, and what actually works in real life. When you act desperate, needy, or overinvested, you aren't showing love. you're showing insecurity. And insecurity destroys attraction faster than almost anything else. But here's the kicker. Most men will continue doing it anyway. They'll continue texting too much, giving too much, caring too much, and then they'll complain that women are confusing or hard to understand. That's not confusion. That's natural behavior. Women chase what challenges them, what excites them, what doesn't collapse under their presence. And if you want to flip the script, you have to change your approach. You have to become the man who is pursued, not the one who is constantly chasing. And yes, that takes work. It's not easy. It means building your own life, protecting your attention, and having standards that cannot be negotiated for temporary validation. It means understanding that your worth is not tied to anyone else's approval, and that showing indifference, or at least maintaining your own boundaries, isn't coldness, it's strength. Here's where I want to make this personal. I want to connect with you. I want you to reflect on your past relationships, your failed attempts, your moments of frustration. How many times have you given too much too soon? How many times have you lowered your standards just to keep someone around? How many times have you felt invisible even though you were doing everything right? The truth is, I've seen it countless times, and I've helped men break free from that cycle. And that's exactly what I want to do for you. I want you to comment below. Share your experiences, your frustrations, your moments when you realized you were chasing someone who wasn't chasing you back. Tell me how it felt, what you learned, and what you're struggling with now. I read every comment. I will reach out. I will engage. This is not just a video, it's a conversation. It's a chance for you to start seeing attraction and relationships in a completely different way, and to take control of your own life instead of letting anyone else control it for you. The most important thing to remember is this: being pursued is not about manipulation or playing games. It's about becoming a man of value, a man of purpose, a man who doesn't allow anyone else to dictate his energy or his worth. That is what makes women chase. That is what makes you unforgettable. That is what flips the dynamic entirely. And for those who are ready to hear the truth and finally make a change, here's the ultimate controversial statement one more time. If you're constantly trying to win a woman over by caring more than she does, you're already losing, and no amount of effort will ever make her chase you until you stop chasing her. That's uncomfortable, I know, but it's the truth. So here's my challenge to you. Start today. Start building your life, setting boundaries, protecting your attention, and valuing yourself more than you value someone's approval. Stop chasing. Start living. And then watch as the dynamic changes. Watch as women start noticing you, investing in you, and yes, chasing you. Comment below with your experiences. I want to know what struggles you faced, what patterns you've noticed, and what changes you're ready to make. I will read every single comment, and I will reach out where I can. This isn't just a video, it's a movement. It's a wake-up call for men who are ready to take control of their attraction, their lives, and their future. Remember, be the prize, not the pursuer. Care less, live more, and let them chase. That is the rule that changes everything.